It is the actually second part of the this session. In first part, we've recorded, and second session we resumed our program by new recording. As I said, we will send the recorded file to all the participants. What is the output and practical aspect of the this approach in Islamic philosophy? One of the problems in Islamic philosophy is that Islamic philosophy is very theoretical. All debates in Islamic philosophy is very theoretical. And many philosophers, even modern philosophers, they mention that why there is no practical aspect to Islamic philosophy, why there is no practical output from Islamic philosophy. That's why in this session, because Islamic philosophy is very theoretical, I don't want to make it more boring to you. In this short sessions, just briefly, I want you more familiar and more interested to the Islamic philosophy. I highlight this point. In Islamic philosophy, it says that the reality is being. Forget the forms, forget the essence, forget the titles. These all are made just to make you recognizable, knowable, understandable. If this form of eyes is circle and that one is triangle, just it is due to being recognized. Not only recognized, brother Hamid join us. Thank you, brother Hamid. So this the reality is being. The others, the forms, shows the capacity of yours, how much you can include and contain the being. So the form, easily we can say that the form, the essence, the mahiyya is for being understandable, for being knowable, for being recognizable. But your reality is not it. Refer to your reality. If you refer to your reality, you would find that reality is same in the being. Your human being has a being, and your very reality is being. The stone, the pen has being, have being. Also, the God Almighty has being. So everything has being. So the difference between Lord and humanity, the difference between them, humanity and other beings, the difference is in something which is not real. What is commonality between the human being, between not only human being, between human being and other beings, between all beings, between being on the earth and the Almighty and everything? What is the commonality between them is being, and that is very reality. So when there is such a commonality, which is a reality, When there is such a difference, which there is no real, why we fight for difference? We all are being. Due to the lack of time, I couldn't explain why being is real, why the form and the essence is not real. In the book, the author mentioned very proofs that why being is very real. So in this case, what is the difference between me and the animals? Just the form, and form is not very real. Between me and the animals, what made us similar is being, and we all have commonality in this era. What made us Lord, connected to the Lord is being. Otherwise, the form is nothing. From this perspective, we can understand the Almighty Lord in Islamic teaching. You know that if we look to the Almighty Lord from theological or from traditional perspective, the Lord is something, has a personal being different than world. If you look to some Hadithi or let's say Salafi school of thought, according to their belief, Lord never, Lord is exalted from us. But Allah in Quran says that I am very close to you, even from your neck, I am closer than that for you. How it is possible? Is Allah exalted from our life, which is very true. But how we can say it is connected to the life? The answer is here. Allah has a being. Everyone has form. Form shows the limit, the boundary of the being of every being. For example, my form shows the boundary of my being. This cell phone, the form shows the boundary of its being. As much as you don't have boundaries, you don't have essence, or let's say in philosophical term, mahiya, so you don't have limit. That's why in Islamic philosophy, mahiya, as much as you have mahiya, let's say in this way, which is not correct word to say in this way, you have a limit. And when you don't have limit, you have no boundary. You have wide being. That's why we say that Allah the Almighty is being without essence, being without boundary. It is being, pure being, pure being. Means that when there is cup of water, let me give an example. When there is cup of water, you put water in, it gets a form. You put in another plate, it got another form. But when you put you put all waters in one place, there is no boundaries, limit. When you are in ocean, wherever you see, wherever you watch, there is no boundary. It is an example, just I have no best example to explain here, that with that ocean is the, somehow we can say it is the Lord. Lord has no limit. It is all being. And the pure being without any limit would be the Lord. That's why in Islamic teachings it is mentioned that all everything is from the Lord, and we will return back to the Lord as well. It means that when there is ocean, all waters are put in the cup, plate, and the other form of the dishes. When the forms are broken, they will return back to the ocean. This teaches us how Lord is connected to the humanity, how humanity can be connected to the Lord. Dear brothers and sisters, as much as we isolate ourselves from the essence, just we think on commonalities. We do think on being, not the essence which limit us, separated us. That would be a kind of approaching to the pure being, which is Lord. So the one way to approach to the Lord, be closer to the Lord, is breaking the boundaries, breaking the forms. I mean by form, philosophical term means everything which makes you limit, everything you think that it limits you. Think about your being. What is your being? So don't think that these forms are your reality. This is the first function. Second, you know how it has ethical teachings. I don't want to go further, and just we have 10 minutes. Second, I want to give mic to you to have your questions as well. Second issue is that when being is the reality, reality refers to being. Essence and forms are nothing. Why we do fight for nothing? We do fight. That is animal. That is black. That is so. This is so. We have to forget all of them. We have to know that the reality, which is the very real, is being. And being in being, we are safe. These boundaries, which we do fight for, that is nothing. How the world would be peaceful. So I'm these days I'm writing a paper on peace building based on the Islamic philosophy. hope to be finished very soon. So thank you for joining us. Tonight I wanted to mention the function of the being. Next session, our topic would be very interesting. If there is any question regarding to the topic, most welcome, please. Yes, brothers.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
I have a quick question.
Yes,
You,
please.
so if I understood correctly, you mentioned you can like perhaps like stretch your boundary by perceiving it in a different way. Um, so how do you exactly do that? Is that something we discuss later? Did I understand that correctly?
I couldn't get your question very accurately. Would you repeat and explain it more?
Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I need to think about it more.
Okay, just explain it more.
So you were talking about the boundaries, right? And how our form is limited.
Yeah.
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 And then I think you mentioned something about you can get outside of that form and make it no limits. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were saying that, I was just wondering, how do you do that? How do you get out of that limit? Um, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking about when you were discussing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good question. Look, human being mind is attached to understand the forms. When you ask, who is he? I won't explain about my being. I do explain about my forms and my boundaries. I would say that I am black, male, white, American, uh, so, age, and something like that. All these issues, I say, they are referring to my boundaries in a way that separate me from the others in a way that you can recognize me well. Yes,
Yes.
isn't it so? Okay. Because human being mind is attached to this kind of understanding. Inshallah, later in the fifth or sixth session, we will discuss about epistemology of the Islamic philosophy. That is very interesting topic. Over there, we will say that in Islamic philosophy opens a gate to the humanity and says that don't think that all knowledge, data come to your mind is or through your mind. Let me accept brother Abba. It says that don't think that every knowledge come to your mind is from through your mind. There is one another way, which that gate is very important. Just briefly, I will come to the question, brother. Just briefly. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam or others, they got knowledge. Do they got the knowledge through the mind? No. We will explain later. Or maybe you see the dreams. In dream, do you get it from your mind, or it is vice versa, or it is different? So one more point. You said that how we can break these boundaries. First, our mind is created so. Our mind is attached to this kind of understanding. We have to train our mind. How? We have to learn in Islamic philosophy how we can train our mind to understand the being, now the essence, to understand the reality, not the boundaries. We need to train our mind. And Islamic philosophy worries about this limited understanding of humanity, only understand through mind. As they call it, علم الحصول. In Islamic philosophy, they say that there is another gate of knowledge, which is علم الحضور. Second, if we, this is not more philosophical answer, if we understand that the very reality is not the essence, which differs and makes me recognizable, knowable to others. What is the reality is common area between me and the others. So if this is oriented in your body, in your nature, so never you think that that man is, when you call, just you will look in different aspects. You look to the similarities. You won't look, this is that sect, that race, that country, that nation, so on. You would say that we all are being. But in being, we will discuss that. In being, everyone is not same. Being differs. Some has more, some has less. We will discuss about it. And in future, we don't have a time. Even in future, we will say that the very different, even differ, never backs to the essence. If we study deeply. So if there is question tonight regarding to this issue, I will explain. Just brief answer. So first, we have to rechange our mind, which is attached to the conceptual issues in a way that just understand the different and the boundaries. Second, we let's say if we train ourselves to be attached to the being and to know that being is the similar, being is the reality, others is nothing, little by little we can break the boundaries. As much as we do, we can gain the knowledge. The boundaries limit us to get the knowledge. By boundaries, we get knowledge of differences, but never we get the knowledge of reality. By the boundaries, we can get knowledge of conceptual knowledge from each other. That is black, white, door, key, and so on. But by the knowledge being attached to the being, we will get knowledge of reality. Knowledge of reality is undescribable. You're not able to describe it, but you are full of the knowledge. Because human beings, they learn and they understand through the essence, through the forms. But you understood the reality, which is there is no form. How to explain it to the others? I hope you get the answer. Yes, any more questions? I think the question is by Brother Ahmad. So, are there any Muslim philosophers who believe in the multiplicity of the being? Just we have to know, the multiplicity has been translated in many, let's say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, being. What do we mean exactly by this word? If I know this, I can explain. What do you exactly do mean by that? Brother,
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
I would like to ask whether, as you were talking, that being itself is one. So,
Yes.
is there any Muslim philosopher who had the belief that there is no oneness? The being of God and the being of ourselves is different.
Yes.
So,
So,
there is multiplicity.
yeah, I understood. You mean, let me, if I understood your question, let me explain in this way. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All Muslims, they believe that there is only one being. And it is impossible to be more being. When you say that being, let me say in this way. When you in the beginning we explained that, brother, by being we mean everything which is called being. Just think about it. From Lord to the pen, human being to the stone and everything. Everyone is covered on the being. So if everything is covered under this being, what is beyond this being? It would be unbeing. How it come to imagine that there is this being which covers every being, and again you say that there is another being? You get the point. So among Islamic philosophers, there is only one being. Yes. Being is in different levels. This never means that we have different being. It means that it has a layers of meaning. Being is different. You get the point. Brother, you get the point.
Yeah, I am getting the point. And I have one more question. Do
Yes,
the
please.
Islamic philosophers also believe that there is nothingness beyond this being?
All believe that what is beyond this being is nothing. There is no being beyond this being. But still, brother, stick in your mind. By being, they mean every being which is covered under the umbrella of the being. you imagine it. You get the point.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jazakallah. So any more questions? Some of the brothers suggested me to have one more session on Islamic teachings, to discuss deeply about Islamic teaching. Maybe in future we will have it. If you agree, just email to the Ilham Shiri email. Maybe we can, if we get more receive. If we receive more emails, maybe we'll think about that. Okay. Any more questions? I can clean while you are asking. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Any question?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. May I have your merciful face?
Yeah. Let me see if I can. Oh, yeah. Assalamu alaikum. How are you
Assalamu
doing,
alaikum.
brother?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, brother.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, actually, not a question, just coming about the deep question the brother Ali, he mentioned. As I understood, it's just the boundary between the limit and illimit. You can't say it just divided 1 by 0, and you can see how much is. So there is rule, the Islamic rule, they say the symbol, very simple reality, it's everything, but it's nothing from it. So, I mean, that's the real different between the illimit and limit. But the science right now, they say it's the energy, you can say exactly the same, that meaning they give us, that's meaning. I mean, energy as the energy, we don't know what it is. We can't, we say it as the being. So that's need a lot of talk. So just this, I need this
Yes.
coming, and I want to thank you also and the other brothers.
Let
Thank
me
you so
add
much.
one more point, brother Hamid, to your
Yes.
comment.
Yes.
What is discussed in physics about the energy all is related to the being, which is related to the physical being. Because in physics, mostly when they discuss about the energy and everything, what comes to their mind is being from physical perspective. But in philosophy, when they talk about being, it is more widely. For example, we have some beings, maybe they are not being seen. They are not able, they are, what can I say? They are not reachable even for the human being. So being between philosophy and being between physics is a bit different. But it never means that they are not connected. That's why also in physics, as you mentioned, they say that energy never ends. Never, there is no beginning for the energy and never ends for the energy. Just energy reforms. When it comes to the area of the philosophy, maybe we can say that being is being. If we collect all being in the world, not world by mean, not the physical world, all being, there is no word to explain it. Just I use a word, world. If we collect and gather all being, we can say that being never be increased or decreased. Being is being. Just being is reform. So what is discussed in physics, we can import this teaching of the physics into the philosophy as well. In the realm of being, there is good connection between philosophy, particularly Islamic philosophy, and also the relativism philosophy by the Einstein. For example, regarding to the time, I hope you're not tired. As much as I have time, I will explain. For example, regarding to the time,